Valentine's Day is one of the most popular holidays in the world next to Christmas. It has commercial significance and cultural significance, but it also has religious significance because this day is recognized as a Christian holiday. If you're a Christian, chances are you have already planned or you are currently planning how you're going to celebrate this day on February 14. But do you know that true Christians don't celebrate Valentine's Day? Yes, you heard me right. True Christians are not supposed to celebrate Valentine's Day. Christ did not teach it, the disciples did not observe it, and the people of God are not commanded anywhere in the Scriptures to observe and celebrate Valentine's Day. What then is wrong with this day? Why are true Christians not celebrating this day? To understand the reason, we need to go back to the origin of the Valentine's Day. I'd like to tell you a brief history of the Valentine's Day. The Romans had a pagan festival called the Lupercalia. This was held every February 13 and 15 in Rome, and it dates back to the 6th century BC. As a fertility rite, Lupercalia was a bloody feast, and it's tainted with orgies and sexual themes. The festival began with the sacrifice of one or more goats and a dog by priest. Now they called the priest as luperci. Now after killing the animal sacrifice, the luperci were led to the altar and have their foreheads touched with a bloody knife. After which, their foreheads were wiped with a wool dipped in milk. And by the way, they were required to laugh all throughout the ceremony or the ritual. Now after this, they were asked to cut strips or thongs of skin from the animal sacrifice, and they would run around the place naked or nearly naked, whipping any woman who came near with the strips of skin they cut from the animal. The whipping was a fertility rite, and women who were whipped are believed to become fertile. So women would gladly welcome the lashes, and they would even strip their clothes and bare their skin just to receive the whipping. Another significant part of this festival is the random choosing of mate. The man would randomly pick the name of a woman from a jar or a hat, and they are then paired throughout the duration of the festival. Some of these pairs would stay for a short time, some would stay longer until the next festival, and the others would fall in love and get married. Now you might wonder how Lupercalia became a Christian festival. It was Pope Gelasius I in the 5th century AD that abolished Lupercalia and replaced it with St. Valentine's Day in celebration of the martyrdom of a certain priest named Valentine. According to the popular legend, St. Valentine was imprisoned and beheaded on February 14 after defying the orders of a certain emperor named Claudius II by performing marriages secretly with young couples. When he was discovered, he was dragged to jail and tortured. Despite the effort to Christianize Lupercalia, the symbols on Valentine's Day remained similar to the symbols in Lupercalia. For example, the color red and white. Now this represents the blood in Lupercalia, in the animal sacrifices, and the white represents the milk that was used to wipe the foreheads of the priests. And that's a symbol of a new life and procreation and fertility and so on. And not to mention the uncontrolled sexual activities and attractions during these days. The Bible warns against anything pagan. Where do we find this? In the Scriptures. Now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 12 in verses 29 to 32. Let me read it for you. When the Lord your God cuts off from before you the nations which you go to dispossess, and you displace them and dwell in their land, take heed to yourself that you are not ensnared to follow them, after they are destroyed from before you, and that you did not inquire after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? I will also do likewise. You shall not worship the Lord your God in that way, for every abomination to the Lord which he hates they have done to their gods. For they burn even their sons and daughters in the fire to their gods. Whatever I command you, be careful to observe it. You shall not add to it, nor take away from it. The Bible is plain. Any festival that is rooted in paganism is prohibited. Valentine's Day is one of them. You might argue, what is wrong with, giving chocolates and flowers and cards and jewelries to your wife on Valentine's Day? What's wrong with telling a girl that you love her? What's wrong with taking your loved one to a special dinner? What's wrong with all these things? Isn't it that love is found in the Scriptures and it's been taught in the Scriptures? Well, yes, the Bible talks about love, but it's the highest form of love. The Bible calls agape, or godly love. This is not the same as the erotic love that is being promoted on Valentine's Day. Godly love is higher than that. And by the way, godly love and romance are not just more than just whispering nice words and giving chocolates and cards and flowers and jewelries. It's about serving and helping others. It's about the husband taking care of the wife and providing for her, loving her, and helping her in the chores, waking up early in the morning when she is not feeling well to make breakfast. It's about taking the garbage out, changing the diapers, and all these things are about serving and helping other people. It's also about the wife respecting and submitting to the husband. It's about making his favorite food, and the husband also buying her favorite desserts, and all these things, helping together and showing love for each other. And by the way, even Christ talks about loving your enemies. Now, this is something we cannot find in Valentine's Day. Love is an ongoing thing. It's a daily thing. It's not just a one-day event that you remember in February. It's something that we do for others day in and day out. And it does not stop. It continues to grow every single day. It should grow every single day. That is what love is in the Scriptures. The Bible in Romans 13 tells us that we owe no one anything except to love one another. For he who loves another has fulfilled the law. And Paul goes on talking about the commandments against stealing and committing adultery and murdering and bearing false witness. In other words, true love does no harm to others. That is what godly love is all about. In conclusion, Valentine's Day is wrong because it's rooted in paganism. And all the things associated with it, the symbols, the colors, the activities, it could all be traced back to pagan rituals and activities that the Bible condemns. God is clear. The people of God are not to take part in anything that has to do with paganism. And that's the very reason why true Christians don't celebrate Valentine's Day. Knowing this truth, you are now left with a choice. I hope that you will make the right one. I'm Ruel Campos, and see you again in another biblical teaching here at Biblical Truths.